Hello YouTube and YouTubettes. I've decided to take my alternate Beach Boys albums down because I'm trying to take my YouTube channel more seriously with the album reviews. So what I'm going to do here is sort of briefly go through all the alternate albums, not in detail, but I want to give the score of each one, and I'm going to show you the song list of each album as I go through it, and just quick thoughts on them. Sorry I'm taking them down. Nobody asked me. Some of them were already blocked, so I figure if I want to take this channel more seriously, I have to take down these copyright problems that I was kind of that are probably not good to have up. So it was fun to do, so I'm sure some of you enjoyed these. Generally speaking, most of these are easy to compile. I would encourage you to buy the albums that these are on, or download the songs on iTunes or whatever. But there's a few of these that are weird mixes that I'll leave my email in the description, and if you want me to send my mix, you can send me an email and I will send that to you. So anyway, here are my alternate Beach Boys albums. The first one I did was the alternate Surfin' USA album. This is actually a combination of Surfin' Safari and Surfin' USA. I used the front cover of Surfin' Safari as the front, but I put Surfin' USA on there, as you can see. Now here's the back. I used the Surfin' USA cover with the song titles. So that's the song titles I used. And going through the album, I gave it a 6.34 out of 10. My next alternate album is the alternate Surfer Girl album. I used the front cover of Surfer Girl, and this is mostly the songs from Surfer Girl and Little Deuce Coupe, and I took the best songs. It's actually more from Surfer Girl. And here's side B, which I used the picture from Little Deuce Coupe with the song list, as you can see there. There's only two songs that are not from either Surfer Girl or Little Deuce Coupe. One is Keep an Eye on Summer, which is actually from Shut Down Volume 2, and the other one is a hidden track. After Be True to Your School is a song called Little Surfer Girl, which is on the Good Vibrations box set. I think it's the first CD on it, but it's a really short demo with Brian, and I thought that was a nice touch to put at the end. Anyway, I give this one a 7.22 out of 10. My next alternate Beach Boys album is my alternate All Summer Long. As you can see, I use the same front cover as All Summer Long. This is a combination of songs from All Summer Long and Shut Down Volume 2, which is the previous, but I like the title better for All Summer Long. This is, as you can see, the other side where I use a picture from cover of Shut Down Volume 2, and there's the list of songs. There's really nothing strange here outside of the song order and the songs that I picked, but I give this album a 7.40 out of 10. Next is my alternate Today album, which as you can see, I use the front cover of Today, and this is the first one that I've done that is mainly just from one album and not two combined. So if we flip it over, you see the song list there. And this one I had to borrow some tracks. All Dressed Up for School is a bonus track from the Little Deuce Coupe All Summer Long 2-for CD release from 1990. I used it for here because I think it added more upbeat to this album, especially as an opener. And also borrowed, kind of cheated with Guess I'm Dumb, which was actually written for Glen Campbell. But it was written by Brian, and Glen Campbell was in the group around this time for a brief period. And then I borrowed Why Do Fools Fall in Love from a previous album. But I used a version that came out on a compilation. I believe the compilation was The Warmth of the Sun that came out maybe 10 years ago or something. And it has a symphonic introduction to it that I think is really cool. And Back Home, which was an unreleased, this was from 63, which was, I think, fits well in here. So I needed to use some a few extras to fill this album out, but it gets a 7.30 out of 10. Next is my alternate Summer Days, Summer Nights album. and as you can see, I use the same front cover. And as we flip it over, you see the song list there, and I used a picture from the Party album. So going down the list here, on Amusement Parks USA, I used the version that came out on Made in California box set. So it's a little different, it's a little longer. And then I used a couple of tracks from Party, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, and The Times Are A-Changin'. No, I did not use Bob Moran. This is my alternate album, so I don't really care for that song. And the other one I added in here was She's Not the Little Girl I Once Knew, which was a single, and I can't remember if I used the version that's in the twofer from Summer Days, Summer Night, or the Today Summer Days, Summer Nights twofer that was released in 1990 as a bonus track, or from Hawthorne, California. It's another compilation CD called Hawthorne, California, so let's check that one out, and you can decide which one you like better. So there's the tracking list, and the score I got for this one is a 7.92 out of 10. My next alternate album is my alternate Pet Sounds album. As you go through side A, the first change is the intro to That's Not Me is actually taken from Sessions in the Pet Sounds box set. So this is one of those that if you really want to hear my intro to it, send me an email. The next change is God Only Knows is at the end of side A, and Salute John B is the beginning of side B. And I just like it better that way. And then I'd used Hang On to Your Ego instead of I Know There's an Answer. I just like the lyrics better. The song order is different on side B, as you can see. Trombone Dixie I put in there. I also like the way Pet Sounds sounds after Hang On to Your Ego, back to back. So try that on your own. So there is the song list, and the score I get for Pet Sound, my alternate Pet Sounds, is an 8.41 out of 10. Next is my Smile album. Now, I've done several Smile albums in the past, and this is the one that I posted. Now, I'm not too happy with this one. As you can see, I use the same Smile cover. But as I flip it over, you can see the song list that I use. It's hard to kind of tell how I've edited these just on here, so I'm not going to try to explain it. But I'm not very happy with my experiment on heroes and villains. However, I am happy with my mix of Plymouth Rock Roll Over with He Gives Speeches over the top of it. Anyway, send an email if you want to hear my version of Smile. But I would say the main thing that I would change, I make it into two sides. I would flip Good Vibrations at the end of side A and Surfs Up at the end of side B. I know that Smile Sessions has 3 sides on it, but the way I have it, it kind of works. Oh, the other thing is Cool Cool Water. I didn't use, I love to say Dada. I used a section from the Cool Cool Water that was unfinished from 67. So this one gets an 8.81 out of 10. Next is what I call Late in Hawaii. I use the front cover of Smiley Smile, as you can see. This one is one I'm really proud of. I kind of imagine in my alternate universe that the Beach Boys made some sort of indie artsy film, kind of like the Beatles did Magical Mystery Tour. So this is kind of a soundtrack to it. And I imagine that in this alternate universe, there would be a double album. So I didn't post this, but the third and fourth side would be live in Hawaii. So maybe one day I'll put that together. But anyway, so flipping it over, you see the song listing here. As you can see, there's some songs from Smiley Smile on here. I've got You're Welcome, which was from the Smile Sessions box set, as well as the twofer of, wasn't it on a twofer as a bonus track? I can't remember. Seems like it was. Sailplane, which was actually recorded a little later than 67, but I think it fits well. The mood of it fits well on here. Holidays was also from the Smiles box session. Diamond Head was actually from Friends, but to keep the Hawaiian theme, I put it on here. And let's see, Walk On By and We're Together Again were bonus cuts from the Friends 2020 twofer that was released in 1990. I Just Got My Pay was in the Good Vibrations box set. Workshop is from the Smile Sessions. And then there's I Love to Say Da Da, also from the Smile Sessions. And then Tone X is a combination of 3 tracks from the Smile Sessions. So the only one here that I would send you on an email is Tone X, because that's kind of my own mix of it. So my final score for my Late in Hawaii album is 7.19 out of 10. My next alternate album is my alternate Wild Honey album. As you can see, using the same front cover, one of my favorite covers. And if you flip it over here, the main things that I did was Been Too Long at the beginning and Can't Wait Too Long at the end. So Been Too Long is a short a cappella number from Hawthorne, California, the compilation. And Can't Wait Too Long is on a couple of things. It's on the Good Vibrations box set, and which is slightly different than the one that's on, I think it's a twofer, Smiley Smile and Wild Honey twofer maybe. And I'm trying to think if it was released anywhere else. Anyway, so that's at the beginning and end, which I think is pretty cool. I used Getting Hungry from Smiley Smile on here because I think it fits better. I also used the Good Vibrations, the early take, where Brian is doubling with Carl and screaming on that. And I think that's on the Smiley Smile and Wild Honey twofer as a bonus track. I used Transcendental Meditation. In fact, I swapped that with I'd Love Just Wants to See You, because I feel like Transcendental Meditation works better here. I love the way it follows How She Boogalooed It. And I'd Love Just Wants to See You, I think, fits better on the Friends album. And then I've got Whistling from Smiley Smile to fill it out. And those are the only other changes other than the song order. So this one gets an 8.26 out of 10. My next alternate album is my alternate Friends album, and this one, you can see I use the same front cover, and as we flip it over, I like that picture of Brian in front of the sunset on the beach. So here's the song list, as you can see, and Meant for You, I'm using the extended version that's on the Made in California box set, and then you see I Went to Sleep and Time to Get Alone, which were both from 2020 actually, but they were outtakes from this, and I thought they fit better on the Friends album. Going down, I'd Love Just Wants to See You, as I mentioned in the last part, that I swapped that with Transcendental Meditation because I felt like it fits better here and TM fits better on the other one. Going down, there's Lonely Days, which is actually from, I think I used the version that's on the recent Wild Honey 1967, the extended version. It's the 1967 sessions. Then there's Why and Where Is She? These are both from the Made in California box set. A Time to Live in Dreams is on the Hawthorne, California CD, and Old Man River, it's on the twofer, the Friends 2020 twofer, as a bonus track, is the one I used there. So that's what I did, and adding it all up, I get a 7.84 out of 10. My next alternate Beach Boys album is my alternate 2020 album, which I call Landlocked. Now, I know Landlocked was a working title for a later album, which became Surf's Up, but I think the title fits for this collection of songs. I use the same front cover as you can see, and as we go through the track listing here, a lot of the songs you can see are from 2020. And Susie Cincinnati, which actually I think might have been recorded later, but I think it fits well here, was actually released on 15 Big Ones. It may have been released as a single before that, but I got it from my copy of 15 Big Ones. And then I've got songs like Soulful Old Man Sunshine and Loop de Loop are from the Endless Harmony soundtrack that came out in 1998. Celebrate the News and Breakaway. Yeah, those two were from the Friends 2022 as bonus tracks. That was actually a single that came out at the time, so I think it fits well here. And Mona Kana was a Dennis Wilson instrumental that was on the Made in California box set. And then, and San Miguel was, I think, also on that was on the Good Vibrations box set. And then I cheated with My World Fell Down, which was not a Beach Boys track. It was Sagittarius, but it had Bruce Johnston, Glenn Campbell, and Gary Usher on it, and it kind of has that sound. So I put that as the closing track. So I liked that as a touch, even though it's cheating. But this album gets a 7.57 out of 10. My next alternate Beach Boys album is Sunflower, and as you can see, I use the same front cover as the original Sunflower album. And flipping it over, there's a picture I really love of the Beach Boys that I use in the back. Now, a lot of the songs here, I think most of the songs from Sunflower are used, but I added a few. Now, first of all, It's About Time, I think, makes a really strong opening track, in my opinion. So I'll mention that. Take a Load Off Your Feet is actually from Surf's Up, but I think it fits better on here. And then going down, I added Barbara, which was on the Endless Harmony soundtrack. And that's really the only things I've added other than rearranging the order. So Sunflower gets my alternate Sunflower gets a 7.56 out of 10. Next is my alternate Surf's Up album, which I call Ecology. And I came up with this. There was no working title for Ecology, but somebody, I don't know, it was a bootleg or there was on YouTube that was deleted. There was a Dennis Wilson track that was titled Ecology on that YouTube channel. Anyway, I thought that worked well for this one since there's ecological messages in it. The song order is interesting, and I use the Stephen Desper mix of Till I Die, which is probably my favorite track on any Beach Boys release, which was on the Endless Harmony soundtrack. But side A is a song by Brian, then Dennis, then Carl, then Mike, then Al, then Bruce, which I think is cool. Fallen in Love was a Dennis song that I used. I think it was either from Sounds of Summer or the Warmth of the Sun compilation. And it's got the version with the orchestration at the beginning. And then I've got Sweet and Bitter, and I'm not sure what that album was from originally, but it's a Mike Love track, probably from his solo stuff. And then Carnival is, I think, an unreleased bootleg that I found on YouTube. Sound of Free was on the Made in California box set. When Girls Get Together was from Keeping the Summer Alive, but it was recorded in the early 70s. Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again is a Dennis Wilson track released on the Made in California box set. And then Out in the Country, I think, was another bootleg that I got from YouTube. So that's my alternate Surf's Up or Ecology album that I gave an 8.07 out of 10. Next is my alternate Holland album, and I combined Carl and the Passions and Holland to make a double album. And I used the Holland cover, as you can see. I'm not a big fan of the So Tough cover. As you can see, I've used 4 pictures. So side B, I have a picture of Brian in Holland. Side C, I have the picture of the art for the Mount Vernon and Fairway. And then side D, where the song listing is on, I have a picture of the guys from that period that I like. So the side A and side B are more classic rock, and then side C and side D are more artsy, kind of the California sound. So anyway, everything on here is from those two albums, except you start with Carry Me Home, which I don't think has had an official release. It's a song by Dennis, and I think you can find that on YouTube. And then 4th of July, which is on the Good Vibrations box set, and that's it. I don't think anything else in here is different. So, other than song order. So that's my alternate Holland album, and I give it an 8.12 out of 10. My next alternate Beach Boys album is California Feelin', and the cover I used was just a picture I found on Google that said Beach Boys California Feelin'. I'm not sure if that was ever a real release or somebody made it, a fan-made thing, but I thought it was pretty decent. It's not the best of covers, but that's what I found to use. And this is kind of the songs following Holland in the mid-70s. And I kind of liked this selection of songs. So what we have here, obviously the title track, California Feelin', at the beginning with the demo version. Now the California Feelin' on the beginning and the demo version were both on Made in California. The one that I have at the beginning of the album was actually not finished recording until the 78, 79, but still it's a song that was meant to be or written around this time. California Slide, I don't think has an official release, but it's a great Dennis Wilson song, but it's on YouTube. It's a New Day you can find on YouTube. And Winter Symphony is on Christmas, Ultimate Christmas, which combines the 64 Christmas album with Christmas songs in the 70s. Tug of Love is on the Dennis Wilson Pacific Ocean Blue Bamboo double CD release. Everyone's in Love with These on 15 Big Ones. My Love Lives On, I believe, is on the Made in California. We Got Love, I can't remember if this was on Made in California or not, but it's definitely on YouTube. Good Timin' is on the LA Light album, so I know that was finished in the late 70s, but it still was original from the mid-70s. Hadophonia is on 15 Big Ones. My Solution has never been released. It's on YouTube. Barnyard Blues is on, and Back Home, I believe, the version I used here, which was like the 72 version, I think, with Al singing, I think. Anyway, both of those are on Made in California as well. So a lot of these are from Made in California, and it's a very solid list of songs. I like the way it sounds together, and I give it a 7.25 out of 10. My next alternate Beach Boys album is my alternate Love You album. You can see the front cover there. I used this Love You cover, which is one of my favorites. And then flipping it over to the back is a picture from the 15 Big Ones photo sessions, which I think is a wonderful picture. So you got a lot of songs from Love You on here, obviously. Sea Cruise, I believe I got from YouTube. The only place I know that it was officially released is on a record, on vinyl. I don't think it's been released on a CD. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then going down to It's Okay, and I used the version, I believe, that came out on Made in California with the organ at the beginning, the organ intro. And then going down to Rolling Up to Heaven, which is an unreleased song. And somebody made a mix that's like an extended mix that I used that was on YouTube. I didn't use the complete extension that they used. It was like 10 minutes long, I think. But I shortened it a bit and put a filter on it with echoes on it. So that's one of those things. If you want me to send it to you, send me an email. So this is my alternate Love You album. And this one gets a 7.78 out of 10. Next is my Adult Child album, and I guess you could say Alt MIU album, because I use several of those tracks as well. The front cover, there was a few options on Google, and for some reason I chose this one. Now I'm second guessing that. Anyway, that's the one I used. So flipping that over, it starts out with several songs that were intended for a working title known as Adult Child. So everything on side A was intended for that. The only released songs, Still I Dream of It and It's Over Now, were both originally from Good Vibrations box set, and I think they're both also on Made in California with slightly different mixes. The Shorten and Bred version I prefer. It was unreleased with Brian singing the lead, and Carl's more soulful on it than the one that comes out on the LA Light album. And then you got several songs here from MIU, which I think are the best ones from that album. They're all solid songs in my opinion. And then Sherry, She Needs Me. Obviously, the first I heard of it was She Says That She Needs Me on Brian's Imagination album. But I believe this version is on the Made in California box set as well. So there's the song listing. And the score for Adult Child is 7.33 out of 10. Next is my alternate LA Light album, and I use the same front cover as you can see. And then flipping it over is the song listing I gave it. And a lot of these are from the LA Light album. The exceptions here are It's a Beautiful Day, which is found on Made in California. I'm not sure, I can't remember which version of Love Surround Me I'm using, if it's the one from Pacific Ocean Blue or the one from the LA Light album. Wild Situation, which is on the Pacific Ocean Blue Bamboo double CD. And then Stevie and Lines are unreleased. They're both on YouTube. Baby Blue Eyes, I know there's one on LA Light, but I think I used a different version that was on YouTube. I was hoping to find, because I used to have it, and somebody used to have it on YouTube, but it's not, I couldn't find it, the original version of Baby Blue Eyes. But in this one, and it didn't have Dennis's vocals on it, somebody mixed those two together, and I was hoping to make another version of it, but I couldn't. And then All Alone has been released several times. It's on the Bamboo CD, but for Dennis Wilson, as well as Endless Harmony soundtrack. So there is the song listing. I give this one a 7.40 out of 10. Moving along to my alternate Keepin' the Summer Alive album. As you can see, I'm using the same front cover as the original. And then flipping it over, you see the song list there, and a lot of those songs are from Keepin' the Summer Alive. But other than that, I've got Constant Companion, which is on the Dennis Wilson Bamboo CD. Then you've got Heaven and She's Mine, as well as Giving You Up, are all Carl Wilson solo songs. And I don't know if all those are on CD, but I have one of his albums on CD, and I think I had to get the other one from YouTube. Going to the Beach is on Made in California. So there's the song listing, and the score I give for my alternate Keepin' the Summer Alive album is 7.54 out of 10. Next is my alternate Beach Boys 1985 album, self-titled, which I called California Dreamin', and that's the front cover. I found a front cover that said California Dreamin' on it, and I kind of wish that I would have used a different one. I wasn't sure what the album title would be if I would just use the same front cover as the self-titled, but here's another one that I kind of wish I would have used now, and titled the album Get You Back. And if I did that, I probably would have rearranged the order somewhat. But flipping it over, you see the song order there. This is kind of, so what I did was I took some of the songs from Still Cruisin' as well as Brian Wilson 88, and the ones that had more 80s type production, I put on this album, and the ones that were a little more polished from those two, I put on the next one. So it's just kind of an artistic choice more than timeline. So going down this, you can see One for the Boys, Love and Mercy, Baby Let Your Hair Grow Long, Meet Me in My Dreams Tonight, Let's Go to Heaven in My Car, He Couldn't Get His Poor Old Body to Move, and Being with the One You Love are all on my Brian Wilson 88 CD with bonus tracks. So I don't know what year that CD came out. So Make It Big was from I guess that's the only one from the Still Cruisin' album. And then California Dreamin' was a single only that I think has come out on compilations. And I don't remember which. I don't think I have it on any compilation unless it's on Made in California, or if I had to get that on iTunes. but it is officially out somewhere. So this is the song order I gave for it, and I think it works pretty well. And this album gets a 6.86 out of 10. Next is my alternate Summer in Paradise album, and as you can see, I use the same front cover as the original. Flipping it over, you see the song listing there, and it's kind of funny that the only song I used from the original Summer in Paradise is the title track. It works out well the way I put it in order here. There's the Sound of a Whale that's on Al Jardine's solo album that I used at the very beginning preceding Summer in Paradise, and then after Looking Down the Coast. Going down the list here, Don't Fight the Sea, as well as Looking Down the Coast, is on Al Jardine's solo album, Postcard to California. There's So Many, Let It Shine, are both, and Rio Grande are both from Brian Wilson 88. Metal Beach is not an official Beach Boys song, but it's a Brian Wilson and Paul Schaefer instrumental. Well, kind of an instrumental. There's some vocals on it. Really cool song you can find on YouTube, and I'm not sure what there's probably an official release for it. I Wish for You is from Brother to Brother, featuring Carl Wilson, and I think he sings with Robert Lamb and members of Chicago. That's a really cool one. Kokomo and Somewhere Near the Japan are both from Still Cruisin', and I really like the way this one came out. It's kind of a ecological type album, and if this had been released in the 90s, I think it would have gotten pretty good critical review. But the score that I gave for this one is actually fairly high for something called Summer in Paradise, and I give it a 7.59 out of 10. My next alternate Beach Boys album, I guess this isn't really alternate, but it's late 90s, early 2000s stuff, and I used the front cover from Brother to Brother. Now, I kind of questioned later whether I should have put I Wish for You on here, since that would match the front cover, and then maybe move Pisces Brothers to the next one, because the timeline works better. But this is what I did, so I'll go through it. Soul Searching, originally on Getting In Over My Head, the Brian Wilson solo album, but also on Made in California. And then You're Still a Mystery is on Made in California. Yeah, so those are from Made in California. Then we go to Some Sweet Day. The version I use of Getting In Over My Head, I'm Broke, Chain Reaction of Love, which is awesome. All of those were from the Andy Paley sessions in the 90s, as well as the Waltz, but I used the Waltz version from Getting In Over My Head. But those other ones I had to get from YouTube because they're not officially released as far as I know. And then I Fall Into Grace is a David Marks solo track. I Heads on Fire is a Blondie Chaplin solo track. The First Time was on the Brian Wilson, it's a compilation of his solo years. And maybe I'm rethinking that maybe one of those other ones was from that as well. Oh yes, Some Sweet Day. Orange Crate Art was from the Van Dyke Parks and Brian Wilson album of that title. And then Pisces Brothers was released by Mike Love. I prefer the non-album version. That's the one I use here. So here's the song list, as you can see, and I give this a 7.35 out of 10. My final alternate Beach Boys album, I don't call it That's Why God Made the Radio, because I'm not a fan of that song, so I didn't use it. Instead, I have the front cover of No Peer Pressure, so I call this No Peer Pressure. And flipping it over is, first of all, starting with some Al Jardine solo tracks, Tide Pool Interlude, Campfire Scene, and A California Saga. So those are on his Postcard from California. And then let's see, the rest of these, I don't see any exceptions, are either from That's Why God Made the Radio or No Peer Pressure. And so this is the album I came up with, and I think it does very well, and it gets a 7.36 out of 10. Sorry this was such a long video. I wanted to get through all the albums as quickly as I could. So once again, if there's anything that's not officially released, any weird mixes that I've done that you want, then email me and I will send you that. Thank you and have a wonderful day.